Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Kababayan Kayo. Today is March 18, 2023, episode 8. And sorry for the delay. We've had a little bit of an hour of technical difficulty, but the show must go on, right? Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Mga kababayan, naimbag nga bigat yung apo, and welcome to Kababayan Kasali Kayo. This morning I would say we have a nice interview that will be featured here, marking the International Women's Day 2023. And we'll get right on to that after a brief news that I particularly been following in the news from the Philippines, and then we'll get on to that interesting interview with a group of 5 women. Okay, from the Philippines, I am so pleased to have learned that on the issue of Vong Navarro, remember the noontime show host, one of the hosts, he was back in court by the same woman who accused him of raping him about, I would say, 7 years ago or 8 years ago. And it went to the Court of Appeals in the Philippines. Well, lately, the Court of Appeals junked that case. Vong Navarro was able, before Court of Appeals junked that case, he had to pay 1 million pesos of bail to get out from jail. But just this week, again, it was the frivolous case was junked, and so he's gonna be able to get that 1 million bail and live a normal life with his children and wife, and so that's a great news, you know. The month of March is International Women's Day, but when you have news like this where a woman tries to damage a man, I mean that's not very good. And in this case, I support Vong Navarro, who is a male, and I'm very happy that he's going to move on normally with his life. This woman that accused him of rape 8 years ago, I mean, there's no way that she's going to bring him back to court again in the Philippines. So that's a good news. Let's take a short break, Isaac, and then we'll go on to the interview of the 5 interesting women, beautiful women. Okay, I'll be right back.
Island Family Pharmacy is committed to providing care and service that goes beyond dispensing prescriptions. We offer personalized services focused on quality care, outstanding customer experience with prompt and professional attention. At our pharmacy, you are family.
Welcome back to Kababayan Kasali Kayo. I'm Sally Aquino, your host. And I just want to encourage you to stay tuned because we do have an interesting interview with 5 beautiful young ladies. And the focus would be on the International Women's Day 2023. Okay? For many years now, since women globally pushed the issue of gender equality, leveling up wages and opportunities, they've successfully achieved in social, economic, cultural, and political arenas what they continue to push for many years, and that's gender equality and opportunities. Make no mistake, day to day, year after year, the proponents of the advancement of women continue to visualize other ways to emblemise equality, not just for women, but for all, male and female, and LGBT or whatever that is. Okay. In order to do that, this year, International Women's Day, or IWD, the theme they embrace, I mean, the theme that they chose to promote this year is embrace equity. Okay? They're saying equality is not enough. Equity means inclusion. And globally, they want an inclusive environment and inclusive world for all, devoid of bias and prejudice. And I join all of the women throughout the world in embracing equity. Ladies and gentlemen, my viewers, this morning I had the opportunity to can we show those ladies, those pictures, Isaac? Okay, there they are. Okay, so I had the opportunity to interview 5 women, including my daughter, Charisse, and I'm honoring her and her friends this morning, commemorating International Women's Day. Now, these 5 young, talented, beautiful ladies have been friends for almost 2 decades now. From their teen days, I've watched these ladies have fun through their favorite and various sports: basketball, volleyball, soccer. They've become very good in basketball and represented Guam internationally in competitions in China, Philippines, and Micronesia. Matter of fact, 2 of them represented Guam at the National Olympics Organization conference that were held in Greece for 2 years. They moved the conference, I guess, to other places in Europe. And so the first one that represented Guam in Greece in the Olympics conference was Marie Pelkey. She's now married to a girl, okay? And then she passed that torch to my daughter, so my daughter Charisse was able to represent and attended the conference in Greece as well. And they talk about that. They both talk briefly about that experience. So, again, they are beautiful, classy, well-educated, have wonderful careers that they love and enjoy in different disciplines, okay? Today, they're doting mothers. They're in their early 30s, and they continue to inspire the youths in our community through their coaching abilities and mentoring the youth as well. You know, coaching is not just teaching them the skills of sports, but they have that opportunity to be mentors, you know, advising young children and young ladies and boys of how to make it in life, you know. And so this women I honor today. International Women's Day is the month of March, and these women will someday be good leaders in Guam in the future. So let's let's show that interviews, Isaac.
Okay.
Sally.
Take. This is
I look
3.
over and all I see is her.
Okay. In 5 seconds. 7, 8, 9,
10.
Okay.
Good evening. Welcome to my show, Kababayan, kayo. And it's 8:20 at night, Thursday night. And I chose this group of beautiful, diverse women to feature them on my show, commemorating International Women's Day. And I'd like to thank you, ladies, for the opportunity to talk to you. And although I'm familiar with all of you, I want you to introduce yourself, starting from Charity. Please face the camera.
Hi, I'm Charity Lujan. I am, what do you want us to say?
Your career.
Oh, where do we work? I'm so
Yes.
sorry. I'll start that off.
No, that's fine.
I'm Charity Lujan. I work at BG Investment Services. I am the investment analyst there and handle most of the admin work. And I've been employed there since 2017, so going on 6 years now.
Okay. And then we go to Marie. Introduce yourself, Marie, and what you do.
Good day. I'm Marie Pelkey-Skrill, and I am an investment advisor also at BG Investments.
And then we go to Chach, my daughter.
Hi, I'm Sharice Bolabola, and I am a PE teacher at Jose Rios Middle School. I've been working for the Department of Education since 2011, so about over a decade now.
Hello, my name is Darren Stinnett. I am 32 years old. I am currently employed with Docomo Pacific as a business sales manager, and I have been working there since 2014. Love my job. That's pretty much it.
Hi, my name is Brianna Crisostomo. I work for PDC Wholesale as a sales manager, and I've been there since 2016. I love my job too.
Don't we all?
Okay. Before we talk about IWD, I want any of you, to talk about how you got together as friends, how you started as friends, and what is the magic thing you do that you keep your friendship so intact? Who wants to begin?
I think we'll just feed off of each other, but what really brought us together was the game of basketball. It's something we all enjoy playing. So Darren and I started playing together when I was, what year? 17?
Junior in high
A
school?
long time ago. So we started playing together, and then Chach.
I got in by 2009, so right, 2007 maybe? Right? Right out of high school, I met these two lovely ladies, and we represented the Guam Basketball Confederation. And
Yeah, so just to add to that, we were kind of, well, Bree and I were kind of like the young bucks on the national team. We joined, and Marie Pelkey-Skrill over here was already a veteran, so that was actually our first time playing together on a team, and it just kind of grew from there. And Charity joined us a couple years later.
Yeah, so I was off island. I was going to college in the States and living in San Diego. I came home in 2008, and I just came back on the basketball scene. I don't think these ladies really knew who I was, so we were actually competitors.
Yes.
They really didn't like me because I'm just really competitive on the court, but our relationship has grown from there, and we have been inseparable for over a decade now.
Yeah.
That's right.
We all
that's
played
right.
together. We've been on a bunch of trips together through basketball and just for fun. And yeah,
I guess
10
what
years-ish.
a little over 10 years, what keeps us intact is, I don't know if that's the word, is just growing through life together. You know, Bree and I were the first of the bunch to actually have kids. So we were pregnant at the same time, and just always being in each other's lives and making it an effort to always be in communication.
Marie, you sort of got the group together, the other ladies together.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
But I was one of the older ones, yes, and we all kind of became a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you traveling then through sports?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I think Darren and I and Bree have been on multiple trips together.
Mhm.
I was actually thinking of it the other day. I've been to Saipan, Palau, China,
Yes.
New Zealand. We all took together. I mean, basketball has really brought us together, but kept us together at the same time. And I feel like when you travel with people, you really get to know them. And I think that's what really created, you know, our bond.
Right, right, yeah. So, internationally, you were also a representative to the Olympics, right? Organization in Greece?
Yes, I went to Greece. I
Okay.
encouraged Chach to apply for the same program,
I
and
went
she went a few years later. And it was an incredible experience
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't have to pay for.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you came back from that trip, I'm sure PDN or the other media interviewed you. What was the impact after the interview?
I think after the experience, for me, I really enjoyed meeting people from so many different parts of the world and experiencing their culture, because that event is really driven around everyone's differences and how we're all the same at the same time. So I really appreciated that, and you know, it wasn't the Olympics, but you got that feel that you get when you watch the Olympics. This like we are one as a world, and I appreciated that so much. Just it was very good for the soul at the same time.
How about you, Chach? What was your experience after going to Greece?
Meeting everyone out there, meeting Olympians. Like my roommate was an Olympian bobsledder from the U.S. and it was just so funny because Guam is so small, so they don't really know. And then when I start talking, because I look like I'm from the islands, and they're like, "Oh, your English is really good." I'm like, yes, we speak English in Guam, you know, because we're a U.S. territory. So like meeting different kinds of culture, trying to promote our culture, and it really made me see that we do have to try to promote the Olympics. I mean, we do have Olympians. We have Olympians right next to us, right?
Your mom?
Why are you looking at me?
Your mom? You remember the 3-on-3, right? The 3-on-3 is considered an Olympic sport now.
Yep.
So technically, you're an Olympian.
That's me.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. No, but yeah, even your mom. So we just that's what I gained. So and I want being a teacher for DOE. I want to spread that kind of knowledge to my students, especially as a physical education teacher.
That's what I was getting into when you did this travel. Did you share it with your students, because you're a teacher, and so you become an inspiration to the youths, right? I mean, even on the local competition, you know, they see you on TV, in social media, you know. I'm sure a lot of the school children would be inspired with something like looking at 5 women, you know.
Yeah, I think
coaches
they
too.
can speak to it the best. Actually, the 3 of you, because you coach too. I mean, just coaching the younger generation, I think it's one thing to play it and to be an example to the youth, but to actually coach them and, you know, teach them some of the knowledge that we've all gained from, you know, competition overseas is another thing. So these guys can speak to that, because that's a completely different level of play for me.
Would you say that that's something that you want to continue advocating for the community? to the community, your participation and your knowledge about the different sports, especially in basketball. Would that be something that you would advocate?
Oh, definitely. I think
I mean, I know that your children are young now, but as they grow older, right?
Yeah.
And more independent, would that be something that you would do for the community?
for sure. I mean, as coaches, we can all attest to not only the just watching the kids grow into a sport, but also the opportunities that come with playing basketball. You know, not only in high school, but moving on and playing for Guam. At the high school level, you have all these opportunities to go to college, right? Scholarships and whatnot. And then playing for Guam after is just something completely different. It's just the pride, right? And just continuing on that culture of basketball. And I truly feel that we've gotten so much better over the years, the level of play, especially with all the new programs coming in. You know, you have Guam Elite, you got the Guam Basketball Confederation really ramping up. It built that new gym in Teason, and all of the community support that we get from it. So,
What's the name of your gym at Teason?
that's actually the Guam National Training Center,
Okay.
but Will and Dom run the Guam Elite program that trains kids from ages 5 through 18.
Is that on all year round?
Year round, yeah.
Okay.
But not only Guam Elite, you know, I don't want to just make it seem like I'm plugging that in there. You also have Grind, you also have D Hedges personal training. There's so many Impact. There's just so many people doing great things for the young basketball community in Guam, and you can really see it, especially as coaches. When these kids come and play for us, they already have the knowledge, skills, and abilities, as opposed to when we started. You
It's a little envious that all these kids have all this opportunity now to play. Growing up, I didn't have anything until you got to school.
Exactly.
And we had a game last night, we were watching, there's a team, they're called Activate, and they have a mix of older players and some high school kids, and we made a comment like, wow, these kids are so lucky, just this era, this generation of basketball, there's so many resources for them to learn from. And when we were growing up, it was, or at least for me, I'm the oldest of the group, so it was straight high school to senior nationals. And now there's different levels, you know, and age groups for them to gain the right type of experience so that they can grow properly. You know?
Right.
And so it's really important. And again, with coaching, I mean, Chach is just coming off a winning championship, congratulations. And, you know, she, and it's a testament to her because she was saying, you know, we have a lot of young players. I don't know what we're gonna do this year, and because of your coaching though, I mean, you turned the program around, so, you know, it's just really good. And I think especially for me and for Darren, women coaches coaching, you know, this next generation of girls.
Exactly.
I really love, I find it very fulfilling. I absolutely love coaching.
It's not just basketball too, you're coaching life for these
For
kids.
sure.
You become a counselor, a parent.
That's a very
a
good,
doctor.
important, Marie.
Project coordinator, travel
Yes.
coordinator.
You become
Parenting,
you wear
counseling.
many hats when you coach.
As, you know, as a coach, as a teacher, as anyone that kids look up to, as a mother, you have so much responsibility to this child, no matter what the age, to have a positive impact on their life. So it's really hard to be a coach because you're not just coaching basketball, you really have to consider the complete person.
Exactly.
Character.
You nailed
High
it.
schoolers are probably a little tough for that.
Oh.
Yeah, high schoolers, middle schoolers.
Oh, we love our high schoolers.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the diverse ethnicity though? You have the Filipinos, you have the Chamorros, you have the white American, and you have the Islander. How do you, you Chach or you Marie, when you have a team together with that diverse ethnicity, how do you deal with that?
Well, for middle school level, and the one thing that I want to point out with our group is that we come from like different diverse schools. So like I'm from Simon Sanchez, I'm public school, and then we have 2 that's from St. Paul and 2 that's from Academy. So
What are you saying, Chach?
So all I'm saying is, even though we come from like diverse, like we all come from different high schools, but for the love of basketball, we still want to promote the same thing, that women, girls, we can succeed in basketball too. And, you know, yes, we try to teach lifelong skills and, you know, just build their character in general. But you got to make do with what you have, right? So.
Well, you know, that's the message of the International Women's Day is equality and equity. It's easier to explain the equality side or rather than the equity, but that's exactly the point about the explanation of equity is you're dealing with a diverse group in sports, okay, even in jobs, okay, but you have to reach the same goal, and that's what equity is about. And I wrote something that I wanted to express to you guys, and this is what you call inclusion. Just what you explained is about inclusion. You're dealing with different groups of, you know, nationalities, let's put it that way. So equality in the job, equality in the community, no matter what you do, that's easy to deal with. But when it comes to inclusion, that's kind of hard. You know, there's a saying, they said, there's a babysitter, right? And she babysits 2 kids. So during lunch, she only has she has an apple and a banana, okay? So what happens is she has to feed those 2 kids that she's babysitting. One of the kids is allergic to apple. So she has to be creative and find other way to feed the other child and not feed her with the apple because the baby will get sick, obviously, right? So to reach that goal to feed the hunger, she has to find another way and find another fruit rather than just apple because the other one would. So that's the idea about inclusion. So what you just explained is no matter what nationality you deal with, you just have to teach the same thing. In some ways, because there are some language barriers, but you have to reach that point, your goal. Okay, so that's the inclusion that the 2023 International Women's Day is, that's what the proponents are espousing, and that has to continue. The other question that I have with you guys is, have you, like you, Marie, you're in the corporate world, and you, Bree and La, right? And you, Chach is the only one who's a teacher here. Have you faced any gender gap, you know, equality? Is there such thing on Guam where men are getting more recognized, getting more paid than women? Even if you have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, do you find that? On Guam, do you find that?
I'm just gonna speak for my workplace. I don't see any gaps. I think the nice thing about working for PDC is it's really based on merit, right? What you bring to the company and the experience that you have is gonna get you to that higher position. So for me in particular, I work at a warehouse with a bunch where it's a warehouse, you think it's a bunch of guys, you know.
60 employees.
Yeah, they're willing to do the pooling and the driving, and so, but we do have our fair share of female employees, and it's nice to see them take on jobs that historically are just known to be male dominated. So I don't see that in my workplace, and I'm very grateful for that. I know it's there, you know, but fortunately for me, I don't see that at PDC.
That's good. How about you, La? You started as what, with Dokoma, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in the same line of work as Bree. We are salespeople. but we are in different industries. I feel like naturally in the sales arena, it's how much you hustle. You know, you got to meet a certain number every month. And same like Bree, I don't see that gap or disparity between male and female. For me, I have two female managers ahead of me, and they definitely are role models for me, being able to prove that as a female you can hustle hard and outwork the boys, outwork the men. And in my capacity, I've definitely outshined men many a times, and I love doing it.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
But you know, other countries do have the gender gap and the wage gap. You know, it's happening in Europe, it's happening in Asia, it's just throughout the world. That's why I think that's why the IWD continues to celebrate, you know, women.
For sure.
Right.
I would echo that personally I haven't experienced it. I'm sure it exists. But I also think that you have to earn it, you know. Even if you're a woman, like, I'm sorry, no one's gonna give you a handout. You still have to work for it. And I feel like if you put in the work, women are being recognized for it, at least in the jobs that I've experienced. So, you know.
Probably more, I mean, more relevant here on Guam, that women are more recognized than men? Is that a possibility?
I see it in some companies for sure. I love seeing women in top positions. I mean, at Bank of Guam where we work, there's a lot of women in senior management roles, and you know that gives me and all the other women that work there something to aspire to. But I don't see a glass ceiling there.
For me, for DOE, I mean, I'm not in the corporate business, but for DOE, being a PE teacher, my profession is very male dominant as a PE teacher. So when I first graduated in 2011, I was in demand because I was the only female in my class that graduated at UOG. So I had many middle schools, high schools trying to pull me in to be hired as a female PE teacher because it's so male dominant. So I think things have changed, history's changing, so things that are male dominant, it's opening up for women. So it's like my profession.
Charity, do you want to add to that?
Well, Marie kind of hit it on the head again. We work together. I think what helps though is, you know, at our executive levels, we do have, you know, a male boss and a female, so it kind of adds the balance there. But I don't see much of that gap where we work. But just to kind of touch again on the sports world with coaching, I feel like when Darren and I step onto the sidelines and we're coaching, there aren't many female coaches. That I would say in that world there is a gap. It's not so much pay, but respect, exactly. Every coach that we go against, they just think they have it in the bag, you know, because sports is a male dominant world, and they, you know, and then we come out and you know we've really formed a good dynamic on the sidelines, and so we've found success and a really good formula coaching with each other. So that feels good, I would say, as a coach, to go up against men and be able to bring a championship home. And Chachi again can agree.
Last night, 2 females versus 2 males. So, and yeah. But it's even it's growing internationally. I mean, not internationally, but like in the US, right? There's more women basketball coaches that are being recognized in the WNBA, college, not even just basketball, football, I believe.
Yeah. Like Aaron said, if you hustle hard enough, right?
So it is definitely changing.
Out hustle the men.
Yeah, but you know, how about the pay range here if you compare it to the States? What do you think about that? Are we at that level, or is the States higher? We're down here. How do you feel about that?
Pay range?
Yeah, pay range. Yeah.
I think there's definitely factors to consider. Like, I believe it's more expensive to live out here. You know, all of our stuff gets shipped out here, most of it. The cost of living and whatnot. So I think if you look at the statistics, it may seem a lot higher in the States because they have less cost of living expenses, if that makes sense. That's just my take on it. We may take home a lot of money, but we're also spending a lot of money. I mean, to buy a house nowadays, a house, 3-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, it's well over $500,000 here on Guam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely
We're catching up to Hawaii.
a difference
Yeah.
geographically.
There's give and takes, I think, of what's expensive here, you know, what's more expensive in other places, but you also can't compare the same kind of job in San Francisco to Guam because it's an entirely different economy and just that you're talking about millions of people that live in a city versus an island of Guam. So more of an appropriate comparison would be like a smaller town in the Midwest or something, right? So then you would compare salaries. But yeah, it's salaries are lower in general, but when you break it down to what the actual cost of living is
And the lifestyle.
yeah,
Compares.
it's hard to do, but
Yeah.
I feel like you can make good money on Guam still.
But you're going to spend a third of it trying to travel to the States.
Yeah.
Okay, so, how about, you have a daughter? Do you have a daughter?
I have a teenager.
You have a teenager? You
No,
got
it's a
2?
girl.
I have 3.
Oh, you have 3, okay, 2,
2 boys.
and of course,
3 girls, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just in case you lost count.
I remember.
So Charity has the oldest of the bunch. She's like the greatest babysitter. So she loves all of our kids.
She's too cool for school.
Yeah.
Ava is
She'll be 14 in May.
that's a nice thing about your group, I noticed that. That's why I couldn't have chosen a better group of women to interview on this show because I'm so proud of you guys. And I know your mothers, she's the last of the Mohicans, she hasn't gotten married.
Well, let's put that out there.
It's in the cards.
No pressure, no pressure.
Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Don't rush marriage.
I'm very patient. I'm a teacher. I'm very patient.
And you know what I'd like to see is as you grow to be a mother of 2 or 4 or 5 is to keep that, you know, that togetherness, that
Oh, absolutely.
company that you guys have. I'm so proud of you ladies. And I'd like you individually to say something to the public, to the listeners. I do have a lot of Chamorro, I would say between the ages of 21 and 28 watching my show. So I'd like you to say something to them and encourage them to do good in life. You know, be a good example. You are already a good example, but what would be your message as a woman to the community?
Oh goodness, who wants to take that one?
Especially,
Great. The reason why she's our captain.
especially the women who are struggling. you
Well,
know.
I would say never give up, yes, and be honest and true to yourself, and don't let anyone tell you who you should be or what you should do and when you should do it, when you should get married, when you should have a kid. Because Auntie Sally, if you met my mom for years, hurry up, when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna, or my grandma actually, but when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? And I waited a long time, and so did they, but I did it when it was right for me, and my daughter's better off for it because I feel like I lived the life, and she gets to live the life that I want to give her.
Mhm.
That's very true.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just do
Timing
everything
is
on your own
important.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Patience.
on your own time,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Bree?
I think Marie, said it best. Stay true to yourself. I think that's the best thing you can do. And find a support. Find your group of women that you can relate to, and that
Your team.
your team that supports you in whatever you do. And like Darren said, in all phases of life, that's really important. We don't always have all good times. We still have conflict, but at the end of the day, we still love each other and we still support each other. So that group of women or that one person is extremely, extremely important. So.
I would say just don't be afraid to fail. You know, some of the greatest entrepreneurs, CEOs of the world have failed so many times, and that's always the advice I see time and time again. Don't be afraid to fail, make mistakes. Life is short, go after what you want. And also, as I've grown into my adult life, you know, treat others the way that you want to be treated. I truly believe in karma, you know, you get that back. Karma's a B word.
You know, I mean, feeding off of what Bree said about having your team there, your support there, aside from your friends, you also need, like for me, growing up, it's always been my mother. She's my rock. She was the one from day one. She took care of my brothers and I, and you know, she did it alone. So I wouldn't have been here unless if it was for her. So.
Thank you.
So I mean, it is International Women's Day, month, right? And I do want to recognize this amazing woman here, and she is. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be with my friends if it wasn't for her. So, so don't forget, you know, aside from your friends, your family, that matters too.
Yeah. In that same note, who would be your who would be the woman that you would honor?
Oh my gosh, my mother, of course. I mean, my mom is tough, let me tell you. But, you know, just as I teach my daughter, you know, a lot, we're such close friends. Everything they said was actually on my mind that I wanted to say. But one thing that I would say to anybody listening, I want to touch on motherhood, because to me that is my greatest and proudest role. Like, I live for my daughter, like my heart beats for that little child. And like they said, I have the oldest one. She's going to be 14 in May, and I'm stepping into a new phase of motherhood. The attitude, you know,
Identity crisis.
She doesn't have an identity crisis, but she's got a lot. She's testing her limits for sure. But you know, just to circle back, you know, when I was growing up, I always thought my mom was unfair and she was too tough on me and she didn't let me do anything. And so what I'm trying to teach my daughter is that I'm always going to be her rock. I'm always going to be her #1 fan. And so I try to teach her trust, you know, and it's kind of hard. It's challenging for her to think like you just want to say no to me all the time. But to any moms, you know, I'm kind of all over the place, but to the moms, like, just be there for your child. They're growing up in a very sensitive time, and it's so easy for them to turn to the wrong things, and they absolutely need to know that they can lean on you for those things. Because I don't know, I'm just going to speak for myself, but when I went through like hard times and dark times, I turned to all the wrong things. And I feel like if I just had a better, open, honest relationship, you know, things would have been a lot better. And so that would be my word of advice to the mothers is don't be afraid to have those tough conversations with your kids, because they're just as scared as you are, probably. You know?
Okay, Marie, who's your rock?
Oh, my mom for sure. My mom's about 4'11", but she's the toughest woman I know. And it's so funny being a mom because you become your mom. And it's so true. You know, if you find yourself talking to your child and I was like, yep, that's exactly my mother. And you appreciate her more because of that, because she wasn't mean, she wasn't wrong, she was being a mom.
Yeah. Yes. So, yeah. But we didn't understand that at the time. Right?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not.
And you, Bree, I know it's your mom too.
It is my mom. She's awesome. I find myself doing a lot of the same things that my mom would do that would annoy me, and I am the exact same way. But I love my mom, and she is my She's like a friend, to be honest. I mean, she looks better than me. She's hotter than me. She runs farther than me. But, so definitely my mom, but I am so lucky to have two amazing sisters that will go to bat for me.
Hi, Marie.
Any time of the day. My sister Alyssa, you guys all know her, she will wreck everything. Just to have, even if I'm like extremely wrong, she will have my back, which I don't know if is the best thing, but yeah, definitely my mom and my two sisters are, yeah, my biggest support.
Say hi to them.
Hello.
Does your mom act like that?
Yeah. Hey Marie.
And I know one of your sisters back in the States, right?
Aubrey. Yeah.
Oh,
She's in Georgia.
Yeah. Oh, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go there one of these days. And you, of course, your mom.
No, not my mom. I think a lot of ways Chacha and I can relate because I also grew up in a single mother household, and she's just the one, like Marie's mom, tough cookie, all 5, 6 of her. She works in the police department. She struggled to make ends meet, but I never felt that. We never felt that as kids. And even now as a grandmother, she's so amazing with my 2 boys. She always wants to take them from me. But the one thing she never stops doing is lecturing, telling me what to do, how to do it, when to do it. But at the end of the day, I always know that she means well, and I don't know what I'd do without her, and I'm just so grateful that I had her as my role model, and just waiting for her to retire, so you can just watch my kids all the time. Love you, Mom.
Well, ladies, I'm very grateful. We're gonna end this interview, but I'd like to see the friendship to continue until your children are old enough to have their children. You're gonna be grandmothers like me and your mom and your mom and your mom. And I know your mom. I haven't seen her in a long time. But
We will still be playing basketball with Bria.
Oh,
yes, and I'm sure you inspire a lot of women out there. Not only women, but also the young boys like Will over there.
you hear all the heavy breathing. That's my son.
And so again, I couldn't find a better group of women to interview for this month, the International Women's Day. But you, thank you so much, and watch the show Kababayan Kasali Kayo on Saturday. And let your children see the show.
Oh, yeah.
Because you guys are a lot of fun. And you guys are so beautiful.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
for having
So
us.
thank you, Marie.
That was
Thanks,
fun.
Bree. And
Thank you.
La,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate you.
So this is the end of the interview with these ladies. Until next time, we'll check on them again next year. But they're on their way to making our community better, especially for women on Guam. Well, thank you.
Happy International Women's Day.
Yes.
And have a nice
Bye,
trip to Japan.
Island Family Pharmacy is committed to providing care and service that goes beyond dispensing prescriptions. We offer personalized services focused on quality care, outstanding customer experience with prompt and professional attention. At our pharmacy, you are family.
Welcome back to Kababayan, Kasali Kayo. That we're moving on to the third segment, which is the wrap up of the show. But before I do that, I'd like to. I hope you enjoyed that interview. Weren't they beautiful? Weren't they diverse? I mean, and the nice thing about Charity, Marie, Bree, La, and my daughter. They get along so well, and that's the way friendship should be. You support each other, and I just love them. and they talk about their mothers too. And oh, like Bree, her mom is very competitive. She's a runner, and she's so well fit. And that's one thing I envy about Marie, because she's so fit. She doesn't have all those flabs like I do. But and then of course you have the mom of Darren Santos. Our mom is Captain Kim Santos of the Kim Santos of GPD. Been there for so many years. And then we have Marie, of course. Her father used to be the athletic director of the University of Guam, and then her very supportive mom. Now she got her wish. She has a beautiful granddaughter named Mila. And such a beautiful child. And then, of course, Charity. She's the oldest of the five. So, and I'm so grateful that she touched on many aspects of being, a mother raising another daughter, and how challenging that is. Of course, my daughter talked about. I thank her that she refers to me as her rock. I've been a single mother for many, many years now. And but all in all, the mothers of these ladies are we have to honor them. I honor them, because without them, these women could have been doing something else other than what they've become as career women, and doing well in life, in the new chapter of their life, being married and having children. I was awed. I was in awe when I did this interview. And I'd like to thank Darren and her husband for making this interview possible. I did a satellite interview at her home, beautiful home. And La, thank you so much, sweetheart. And I hope you have a good time in Japan, vacationing with your mom and your husband and your children. Again, I want to thank my viewers. Surprisingly, I see all this data on my phone, and I see that I have viewers from all over the world. Oh my gosh, I have viewers from Australia, New Zealand, UK, my friends in UK, and then I have friends in Italy as well, and somewhere else. There's another part in Europe. I have friends there too who are watching the show. And of course, the Philippines, and here on Guam. I just thank my brothers, Chamorro brothers and sisters, for always supporting the show. And we may have glitches, but the show goes on. Right, Isaac? It's a wrap. And thank you so much, Isaac, for coming in this morning and making this happen. See you next Saturday for another episode of Kababayan, Kasali Kayo. Yes. Oh, that's right. Isaac reminded me that our slot now is 9 a.m., which is more comfortable for the technical director to be here with me on the show, rather than getting up at 5, getting ready to be here by 6:30. It's a workable time. 9 a.m. will be the new slot of Kababayan, Kasali Kayo. And again, thank you. See you next Saturday.